Hello and welcome. If you have always wondered about the origins of Spanish, all your questions are about to get answered. With over 500 million speakers in the world, it is one of the most influential languages. More than 20 countries have recognized it as their official language, and it is also a pretty significant tongue in the USA. But wait a minute, if it originated from Spain, as its name indicates, how did it end up in 20 other countries? Well, that's also something you will learn in this video. Let's take a walk through history and figure out where and when Spanish came into being. Before the Roman invasion, the Iberian Peninsula, modern-day Spain, was inhabited by the Iberians, Celtics, Celtiberians, and even some Greeks and Phoenicians. These people spoke various vernaculars like the Iberian and Celtic languages. They were called substrate tongues for being less important socially than the modern-day vernaculars. From 220 BC, the Romans started conquering various areas around the Mediterranean. We all know that Romans loved their culture, which is why they ended up imposing their language in all the areas they had conquered. Latin was the tongue of the Roman, and it was divided into two types, classical and vulgar. Classical was the version that was used in the court and by the royal families. Vulgar Latin was the one spoken by common people. It did not have a written form at that time, and still it spread everywhere. This version not only became pretty common, but also interacted with the local vernaculars and gave birth to new tongues. A lot of modern vernaculars have traces of Latin in them, and they are called Romance languages because they originated from the tongue spoken by the Romans. As history shows us again and again, no empire lasts forever. When the Roman Empire fell, the people they had conquered got the chance to establish their identity. But the influence of a culture and language is not that easy to shake off. A lot of tongues today spoken in the region have clear influence of the language of the Romans. The version of Spanish that was born at that time was known as Castilian. It had thousands of words that were taken straight from Latin. But that wasn't the only influence it went through. A few Germanic words were incorporated into Castilian when the barbaric invaded the region. After that, it was Arabic. Arabs ruled Spain for more than 700 years. It was impossible for the people of the region to not get influenced by the culture and language of their rulers. Spanish ended up incorporating a lot of Arabic words in its vocabulary. Once the Arabs were defeated, Castilian became the official tongue of the region. A lot of work was done during this time to promote and improve the language, but it never ended up becoming different from Latin. The modern-day version of Spanish is one of the closest relatives of Latin. It also has 8% Arabic words in its vocabulary. Other Romance tongues, like French, Italian, and Portuguese, also influenced Castilian to some extent. As for the rest of the world, the tongue spread exactly how it came into being, with the influence of colonizers. Spaniards went to different parts of the world, exploring the earth and establishing connections with the locals. But some of them went on long journeys with the sole purpose of colonizing a land. Under their rule, a lot of countries ended up adopting their language. This is how the vernacular ended up in the Americas. But it's due to the simplicity of the vernacular that it has truly stayed a part of so many people's lives around the world. Since it spread out so widely, it was important to assign someone to the task of protecting and maintaining it. The Royal Spanish Academy was set up with the sole purpose of protecting the tongue. They published dictionaries and released rules to make sure there wasn't too much difference in the version of Castilian spoken in different regions. Many people abide by the rules of the Academy, but a few changes still end up in the different versions of the vernacular. This is why tiza is a word used for chalk in all the countries where Spanish is spoken except Mexico. In the latter, the word for chalk is his, which itself is derived from a Latin letter. However, a few differences have not kept the speakers of Spanish apart. If you think this tongue has drifted away from its roots, you would be surprised to know that it still has 75% Latin words in its vocabulary. The history of Spanish is the perfect proof of how powerful the influence of a ruler can be. Things are not the same in the world today, and nations don't occupy each other, but they continue to influence each other in different ways. Do you know which country will have the biggest number of Spanish speakers by 2050? The U.S. All the immigrants from the Americas keep increasing the number of Castilian speakers in the U.S. This only shows how important the vernacular will be in the future. We are sure you must have learned a lot from the history of Spanish today. We hope you enjoyed this informational video. Now you can impress others with the knowledge you gained today.